This is the AA show with, of course, yours truly as your host, Antonio Aguirre. And in this show, we're going to talk about anything under the sun, basically. Things that I like and what I'm more interested in to talk about, perhaps from tech, fashion, music, arts, sports, especially basketball, especially NBA basketball, specifically that. We're gonna talk about a few topics for our episode this week. So this is episode 1. So I'm very excited about this. It's been a project of mine to start doing something like this so I can talk more about things that I like and I'm passionate about. Besides the show that we do, which is Life Deck for the podcast, fashion retail business. That one. And of course, Coach Antonio. So this will be the AA show and more on everything else under the sun. Kumbaga, kahit anong pwede natin pag-usapan dito. I think the first one for this week that I want to talk about is, should I buy the Samsung S22 Ultra? Because I had the Samsung S21 Ultra, remember last year. Time flies by so fast. Parang kabibili ko lang sa kanya Feb. And I'm still paying for it through my smart plan, I think. I had a horrible experience with it kasi Exynos chip yung gamit niya. And nung gamit ko siya for Google Meet and Zoom calls, it shuts down. Nag-overheat siya.
Yung temp control, pinapatay niya yung phone.
Oo, yung temp control. I do not know how to parang change the settings.
Pero delikado rin yung i-bypass eh.
Yeah, so hindi rin siya safe. Siyempre, baka masunog siya or ma-fry yung chip. We don't know. But for Asia, I think they gave us the Exynos 2200 chip. Or 2100 chip, if I'm not mistaken. So it was kind of controversial because it was supposed to have the Snapdragon 888. And that's why from there, I switched to a Xiaomi Mi 11. Not the Ultra yet. Mi 11 kasi we didn't have the Ultra. The Ultra was specifically for China and the one with the extra screen on the back. I wanted that pero China ROM. And that's why I opted again for the Xiaomi Mi Mix Fold, right? No, this is Samsung.
Ay, yung kakabenta mo lang.
Before getting to the Samsung Fold 3, this one, which I think is a very good phone for me. I had the Mi Fold phone, but it didn't have Google. It didn't have Google Play Store, so I had to download it and download all the apps. It's like having Huawei. Huawei doesn't have, walang Google Play siya eh. So if you're not familiar with having Google Play Store, so you're gonna have a hard time trying to download the app for the Play Store. But once you have it, you can download everything already for it. It's the same thing. The Samsung S22 Ultra is basically the Samsung Note with another name. Kasi they have the S22, the S22 Plus, and then the S22 Ultra, but I'm not having my eyes set on those two phones. I like the 22 Ultra because I like having the stylus. I'm a huge fan of Note series, by the way. I use that as my secondary phone.
It works as your tablet and phone na rin.
Yes, kasi it works as a tablet and a phone. And when I'm watching videos, very helpful. And when I'm opening Excel files, it's huge kasi the screens are bigger compared to having an iPhone 13 Pro Max. The screen is just not enough for that. And I can't always bring my iPad with me all the time. So this having a screen like this is very helpful for me. Sometimes it's just a drag because when it folds, it's like having two phones. And then you have another phone. So it's like you have 3 phones ready. Nahirapan ako to even have another phone, which is the S22 Ultra. I think we are getting the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 in this. But if not, we're gonna have the Exynos 2200 chip, which is bad news because, I had a horrible experience having that with the S21 Ultra. So
Parang yung Exynos for this version is Europe lang.
I think so, yeah. But in Asia, I don't think we'll have the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1, which is a lot faster. It's the next gen after the Snapdragon 888 processor, which is very good. It's still really fast for me. But then, if I'm getting an Exynos chip, I might pass on getting it because I feel like I'm not gonna be able to use it.
Or hindi sulit.
Oo.
Kasi for business mo siya ginagamit.
And yun nga, I use it for video calls. Kasi I use it for video calls so that I can be free with my main phone. So I can still text and do something else while on that video call, for example, or that Zoom call. So medyo struggle siya for me to use simultaneously kung mag-shutdown siya because of temp issues. So yun yung ano ko. Pero it's really nice because, of course, it's top of the line and at the same time, I like the 120 Hz refresh screen. My iPhone is already at 120. What?
Parang gaming PC screen na siya eh. 120 Hz.
I mean, you get the 144 on other gaming. That's already in gaming phones. But I don't have any gaming apps. I don't have Mobile Legends or, any shooter games anymore. It just kills my time. But if I'm gonna play, it's hard to play on a fold phone just because of the screen size and it's just too heavy. So masyadong malayo yung mga buttons.
Crease pa, nakakailang din.
Nakakailang din yung crease in the middle. So the S22 Ultra would be a good phone to play with for me. And I think taking photos on it would be very good. Although, as a secondary phone, I'm still gonna use my iPhone as a primary phone for photos.
Especially you're using it for apps. Kasi pag Android ka nag-take ng photos.
Yeah.
So sa apps, parang ini-screenshot niya lang eh.
Oh, parang ganun. Pag kumukuha ka ng photos with Android, it's like, the quality is a lot lower, no? Especially when you upload din social media.
Nangyayari lang yun kapag ginamit mo siya for IG stories direct or kapag mag-upload ka sa Facebook tas direct na. Kasi ang ginagawa lang ng Android, so dahil sa sobrang dami ng Android phone, ang ginagawa lang nila, parang ini-screenshot lang nila kung ano yung nasa screen. So, lower quality talaga.
Bakit? For iPhone, it's different?
O kasi na-modify na ng apps for iPhone na kung ano yung quality ng camera mo talaga, yun din yung gagamitin nila sa apps.
Okay.
So, hindi yun magawa ng Android kasi ang dami naglalabas ng Android.
Right. Okay. And the price. So it starts at 68 because I think they have a 1 terabyte version. Yeah, they do. So they have a 1 terabyte storage with 45 watts fast charging, 5,000 milliamperes battery. Of course, it has 5G and Wi-Fi 6, IP68 weather resistance.
12 gig RAM.
Yeah, 12 gig RAM. It's shame because it had the Note previous to that had 16 gig RAM, I think. If I remember, I had the Note before. It had 16 gig RAM. Medyo downgrade.
Pero if too much RAM, hindi mo rin naman magagamit kung nag-overheat yung phone mo eh.
Yeah. I know it's good for high resolution videos. And if you're multitasking and when you're editing on your phone, so the rendering time is a lot faster with more RAM. Wala siyang parang bottleneck pag mataas yung RAM niya.
Pero if it overheats naman, wala rin.
Kung nag-overheat din. So magka-crash din yung app mo pa nag-render ka, no? I think there's a lot of YouTube creators that use their phone as their main editing tool. Like my friend Kuya Kim, he edits on his Fold 2, his YouTube videos.
Yeah, for simple cuts and
For simple cuts kaya, no? For mga
simple inserts na.
mga hanggang 20-minute videos. Oo, kaya siyang i-render on your phone. Okay.
Kasi hindi siya kaya dahil may color grading pa, ilang patong din edit.
If your color grading is your thing, it will not work on a phone. You're still gonna use a MacBook with at least an M1 chip. Malaki bang difference nun? Like with 8 gig RAM versus 16?
So
Windows kasi basically
Yeah.
since na-maximize mo yung animations.
So, pero on a laptop, does it apply also on a phone?
or as a phone,
On a phone, for example, if you have 16 gig of RAM versus 12 gig of RAM for a phone.
putting RAM sa phone para sa gaming eh.
Oh yeah, for gaming para walang lag, no? Oo. Hindi siya nag-ghost, ang tawag doon?
Sa laptop kasi, ang difference ng RAM, yung can run multiple apps. Eh sa phone, nonsense naman mag-run ka ng marami.
Hindi naman nagmong-multiple apps eh. Oo. I mean, you can only do split screen, di ba? Split screen. So you can do YouTube and then you can browse. So hindi rin kakain siya masyadong space. And we're not on 8K yet. So until 4K ka lang. Wala rin eh. I like watching those 8K videos. Kaso wala naman akong
8K na din.
wala naman ako 8K na screen, di ba? So hanggang 4K lang talaga sagad. The camera specs on the S22 Ultra are similar to its predecessor. So you're getting a 108 megapixel main camera, 3x and 10x telephoto cameras, 12 megapixel ultra wide, and 14 megapixel selfie camera. So instead, the improvements are largely focused around low light photo and video capability. So it's kind of the same with the iPhone 13 Pro Max, di ba? Especially with the ProRes. They focused on taking better videos and photos in low resolution and in low lighting. You know, when you take photos now with cell phones, it just doesn't take photos. It takes the best one that you can make. Are you familiar with that?
Automatically edits yung...
Automatic. So you get the best, kumbaga semi-edited photos already. It's not raw unless you choose for a raw option wherein kung ano talaga siya, raw. So if you're an editor, you get 2 photos, raw and then the best photo possible. I mean, a normal person would just want to take photos and then upload. Upload na nila sa Facebook yun, sa Instagram or whatever social media app na ano nila. So that's basically a normal person, right? You take photo and upload it, that's it. Not everyone is a creator, kumbaga. Di ba?
Tsaka yung ibang creator din, mas pinipili na nila yung easier way.
Yeah.
Para mas mabilis na sila makapag-upload.
I used to edit my photos before uploading. Now, I rarely do that anymore. I just let my phone do everything and upload. Mas importante sa akin yung content kasi. So, I'm after more on volume rather than the quality of the photo. It has better high resolution on a night mode shot.
Okay.
I think Samsung has been mastering yung night shots eh. Dati pa nila pinopromote yun.
Yeah.
Yung take photography in low light.
The result that you get is a 108 megapixel image that incorporates the added light gathering benefits of pixel and binning technology. So you get that on the Ultra only. On the S22 and S22 Plus, you only get the 50 megapixel image. So malaking difference nun. Okay. So Samsung says that S22 series night photography capabilities have vastly improved, including the ability to take portrait mode in low light. You know, those photos at night when you're outside, night photography, you get better photos. And if you're after photos, maybe yes. But in terms of probably the speed and
Anything new?
The RAM is a downgrade.
parang downgrade yung RAM for me. So I think if you have an S22 Ultra,
Or 21.
Ah?
If you have an S21 Ultra.
if you have an S21 Ultra, and if you have a Note 20, I think you don't need to upgrade to the S22 Ultra yet. But if you have something mas older pa doon, yeah, this would be a good upgrade, I think. I think this is a good upgrade for you. If you're using like me, the Fold 3, well, kasi iba yung market nito eh. I think the foldables have a different market. Like the Flip, Samsung's Flip did very well for Samsung. They have a very different market for that. I think my wife wants a phone like that because it's clamshell. It's easy to fit in the pocket or in the purse. So swadili siya, mas fashionable. So not for the tech savvy, not for gamers because yung ano niya is very rectangular talaga. The portability of that is really nice. So I think when you're talking about foldables, that's a different market. But this, for the the top-end smartphones, I think the S22 Ultra would be a very good phone to upgrade. If you're using something older than the Note 20 and the S21 Ultra. Yeah. Is it worth it? But it's already out here in the Philippines. I saw it in one of their stores twice in, I don't know. There's a 128 gig, 256 gig, 512 gig, and the 1 terabyte variant. I mean, on a secondary phone, I'm good with 128. It's just that you only get 8 gigs of RAM on the 128. And then all the others get 12 gigs of RAM. That's huge. 8 gig and 12 gig is a huge difference, especially in the loading part of any apps they're trying to open. Yeah.
It's delayed din eh.
Yeah.
And you get freebies like the Samsung Galaxy Buds Ultra plus some casings. It's a special casing with the strap. You get that as well. There's a few colors. I think there's like something like black, whitish, and then there's blue and then something maroon in colors. So four types of colors. I'm not a fan of the camera, how it looks on the back. I like the S21 with the curve, with the notch, with the space, you know, the dedicated space at the back instead of just 5 circles. I feel like I'm using a spider. Alam mo yung sa spider yung maraming mata? It's like that. It looks like that for me. But, you know, it's just my opinion. It probably will get sometime getting used to. You know, I might just get one just for the heck of it.
Probably.
Samsung.
Not?
Samsung.
Samsung, I know. You can send me one if you want to. I mean, I didn't like the Flip. Not a huge fan of it. I'm kind of liking this one a lot more. If I'm gonna use it, you know, for browsing and what, not really for social media. I really like the S Pen stylus because this one, having it attached because there's no slot for this, is like, and it's specifically for the Fold edition. This one, so you can't use it on a Note. So specifically lang siya for Fold, and kasi wala siyang charger. It doesn't charge. Like the Note, I think it charges by itself, right? But this one, it doesn't charge by itself. I'm pretty happy with the Fold 3. You know, this is dual SIM. I wish lang that binalik nila yung micro SD slot. Because my micro SD is somewhere here. It's inside, nakatago lang. Sayang, I have a 512 gig micro SD that I'm unable to use because it has so many movies that I download. So I watch it on my free time, but hindi. On the second SIM slot, it's really a SIM card. So I have a smart SIM and then I have a GOMO SIM, which is I love the GOMO SIM because the SIM does not expire. The data. I'm using a GOMO SIM also on this. So every month or so I buy 25, or pag nagkakaroon ng promo, I buy the 30 gig for $299. I love it because you're not pressured na ubusin siya within 1 month. Hindi siya na-expire. So it's just there. So whenever I need it.
Last time na parang may 60 gig data, di ba?
Oh yeah. It's like, you buy a promo and then you have 60 gig of data on your iPad. Let's face it, not everyone uses their iPad as their main phone. Like, unless you're a giant guy, like, if you're Shaq, this would be like, hello, right? I think Boban Marjanovic, one of the biggest players in the NBA, he uses an iPad, I think, iPad or iPad mini as his primary phone because his thumb cannot use a regular phone. Yeah, I mean, big guy problems, right? I can't see myself using an S22 or an iPhone 13. My wife uses an iPhone 12 Pro, not a Max, 6.1 inch. It's too hard for me to use a phone that small. 6.1 inches is just too small for me for a phone. 6.5 to 6.8 would be great. I think 7 is big already. Kung 7 inches for a phone, yeah. Oo. Unless you have, basketball player hands. Kung malaki yung kamay mo, it's normal. You can use that. But for us normal guys, no, it's not worth it. I might get it, but not to replace my Fold. I'm happy with the Fold 3 for now. Yeah. I'm thinking of putting siguro yung Ditto na SIM. Yeah, I'm thinking of putting a Ditto SIM. I haven't explored that SIM card yet. So I have a Globe, I have a Smart, I have a GOMO, and then maybe a Ditto SIM would be nice. That's it with the S22 Ultra. For me, I might get it, but not like to replace my secondary phone. It's probably not enough for me because I checked it out. I'm not sure it's something that I want to use. I like the flexibility of having a fold phone because I had this S21 Ultra. Horrible experience using that phone personally. It's just not useful for me, for the video calls. I need at least a good 4K front-facing camera. I know that the Google Meet only does 1080, that they don't do 4K videos yet, but I like the idea of having the readiness for a high resolution. But I really think if you have a high resolution for your camera on the front facing, it will take most likely better videos and photos. 1080 on a top spec phone won't cut it. I think the M11 didn't have 4K on the front facing camera, so I didn't like it. Yeah. So tell me more about Kanye West's $200 STEM player and why it's the key for you to get to his next album, which is Donda 2. Wow. So Kanye West said that Apple offered him $100 million for the first Donda album, so for it to be exclusive on Apple. But then he wants to use it on the $200 STEM player. Okay. So the STEM player is under Kanye West. So what is the STEM player? Ano siya?
Kasi ang pinaglalaban ni Kanye, as per him,
No. What's the STEM player?
it's like yung iPad shuffle.
Oh, so this is the STEM player. What does it do?
It looks like a mini speaker, so it plays like this.
That's it? It's just like a speaker?
Yeah, it's a mini speaker.
With colors?
Yeah.
Seriously. So this is 10,000 pesos.
Yeah, so para siyang iPad shuffle yung before, pero this one is
So how do
built-in
you
speaker.
get your music inside this?
No.
Ano na siya eh?
Download na siya ng...
Meron na siyang built-in streaming platform doon sa loob ng speaker.
And then you can say a command to this?
So parang ayun, hindi siya parang ganun.
Hindi siya parang smart speaker.
Siya parang
So how do you control this?
ganun nga, parang siyang shuffle.
Shuffle.
Parang siyang shuffle. Yung iPad shuffle before na maliit, tas puro
Yeah, I know, but-
puro button.
So the sound comes out there,
Built-in speakers.
Built-in speakers.
but it's only the Donda 2 album inside it, or no? You can play whatever's in the STEM player. It's like having Spotify. So it's going to be available on his own platform, the STEM player, not on Apple, Amazon. It's not going to be on Spotify or on YouTube. Kanye's reasoning is to separate from other artists who've recently spoken out about Spotify's Joe Rogan situation and the stark difference between his $200 $200 million deal versus how much it pays them. So the conclusion is it's basically the same. He wrote in another post, it says that today artists get just 12% of the money the industry makes. It's time to free music from this oppression system. It's time to take control and build our own. So go to stemplayer.com now to order. So it's scheduled to launch on February 22nd, which is tomorrow, but here in the Philippines it's on the 23rd because we're from the future. Oh, I like saying that all the time. We're from the future. So the $200 stem player, it launched last year in partnership with Kano Computing. So shipping with the first Donda album so that you could manipulate any song using the touch-sensitive light sliders inside its beige shell. It's weird. Why is it beige?
Parang, di ba, music recording has stems, yung vocals, yung pag nag-record ka ng music,
Yeah, everything's separate.
so it's called the stem player kasi you can separate, parang pwede mong i-dissect yung music na i-upload.
So you can play instrumental or you can just play the voice? Really? Well, that's cool. Okay, so
It's not online like a streaming platform.
Okay.
But you can upload music. So parang iPod Shuffle nga siya before.
so you can put in any music from any artist across different platforms?
To your computer.
So you upload the song
From your computer to the...
and then you download it to the stem player. I want to know more about so it says here they have 67,000 units available and they're making 3,000 a day. Okay, it has 8 gigs of storage. That's not a lot. And it's connected via USB, Bluetooth. I don't know if it's even Bluetooth 5 or a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack and a 97 decibel speaker. Pretty loud. The details of the album is it's kind of murky because it will cost anything for stem players owners to download, but this isn't Ye's first exploration to limited release music. Yeah, I remember in 2016 he released The Life of Pablo exclusively via Tidal. You remember the Tidal? So it was never available on Apple. And on April 1st of that year, Life of Pablo it launched on Spotify, Apple, and Google Play still because, you go where the attention is and where the subscribers are. Doesn't make sense, right? If you're gonna launch a movie online, might as well release it on Netflix or maybe Disney Plus or Amazon, because if you're gonna get your own platform just to have exclusive movie. Imagine if The Rock only made movies on his own platform. Let's say, Rock Plus. All his movies are there. I don't know. Would I pay 150 pesos perhaps a month just to watch his movies? Maybe not. Huh?
That's not automatic. The Donda will be uploaded to the STEM website. Then you still have to upload it to the STEM player.
Yeah, so that's like extra work for me. I don't know.
It's not like you'll buy the STEM player and the Donda is already there.
Right. So you have to download the song also. Nah, I think I'm gonna pass on this. Is it connected to any NFTs or something like that? No, not yet.
Plus, I think Kanye does not believe in NFTs.
He doesn't believe in NFTs. Not now. Not yet. Okay. He's probably studying it as well. Like me, I'm still studying NFTs and how you could use it to your advantage. I might do something for that together with combining Soul Slam and maybe with another brand that I'm working on. So making my own merch, right? I'm making AA clothing. So maybe an NFT for that would make sense. I saw like StockX was being sued by Nike because Nike didn't want them to have NFTs of their shoes. Pero yung StockX, meron silang NFTs of their shoes. You can check out an article about that. It said that they're so pissed at StockX doesn't have the rights to sell NFTs of their shoes. And Adidas has them they have the Adidas Yeezy sneakers that they made as NFTs from StockX.
It's not your design.
It's not their design, it's not their product. They're just a platform to sell it. It's like, you have your shoes on SM, on a department store, but that's it. You can't sell the brand to people, right? Because your rights is to sell that shoe, not a photo of it or a digital platform of it. Yeah, that makes sense.
So vague. So I think they can...
Yeah, I think talking about NFTs will be another topic. I might invite someone who's really good at NFTs so they can explain it to us, like explaining it to a 12-year-old how NFTs actually work. So NFT stands for non-fungible token, wherein you can have an art that is exclusive depending of how many. Like for example, my photo can be made into one original, and then I can sell about 300 of those to people, and it will have a digital signature that's exclusive to them. And depending on the hype, that value can increase. So basically, that's it. Owning a photo or like a basketball card, but not the physical basketball card, right? But it's digital. Or owning like a painting of the Mona Lisa. You know, the Mona Lisa original is somewhere in Europe, I think, in a museum. But then you can have 300 of those and digitize them and sell them for a lot, and then the value can increase. Something like that, right? So I should invite an NFT expert. Probably call on one of my friends, maybe Jello Go that I know. Yeah, Jello Wong. I'll call on him. Would you buy a stem player just to listen to Kanye's music? Donda 2? No. If you had 10,000 pesos to spare, would you buy one? Why not?
Di practical kasi.
It's not practical though.
It's not practical.
Why? You would rather use Spotify? Do you have a Spotify subscription?
Yes po.
Okay. Yeah, it's worth it. Like my Spotify subscription is 194 pesos a month, and I have 5 users. No, 6, including me. So it's worth it. My sister in the States is using it. My other store is using it. We're using it here. Yeah, that one in the office. I have one. My wife has one. I still have 2 free slots. Okay? Makes sense.
Plus, yung isang comment kasi na nabasa ko na streaming platforms are becoming huge. People that parang it seems that people forgot that they can illegally download movies and music. Just
Right.
like what we used to before, diba?
But you have to download it illegally to LimeWire or FileShare. Yeah.
Donda will be available in all platforms soon.
It will still be available. Yeah, because you can kind of, hack your way into downloading an MP3 type format of it, and then or re-record it somewhere, and then
Just upload it on YouTube.
yeah. I think the last album of Jay-Z was available only on Tidal, but then I could watch the videos on YouTube. So that for me is okay. I feel like all these platforms are getting out of hand already. Like, for example, like videos, we started with Netflix, right? And then now I have a subscription with Amazon, Hulu, HBO Max, Fox, and then you have Warner, and you have, of course, Disney Plus, who holds the key to all Star Wars and Marvel movies, and of course Disney movies. So they took out everything that's Marvel and Netflix. That's a bummer. So now piracy went down before that, and now piracy is going up again, just because not everyone can pay 200 300 pesos a month for these platforms. So now piracy is on the uprise again, and you have all these download sites where you can get everything that you want to watch. The cam versions, you can watch those movies. I mean, I haven't watched the Spider-Man movie, but I watched it on a cam version, right? And it was good enough for me. And I'm still waiting for at least a 1080 version of it. Not even, hindi man lang 4K. I'm okay with a 1080 version of it, even if my TV at home. Like, question, would you watch a movie now, like a real movie in the cinemas? Have you done it yet? No?
Pandemic?
Yeah.
No.
Would you? Not yet? Because I want to eat popcorn and drink soda and such inside a cinema. And I feel like you're not allowed to do that, right? You can't eat. So you can only watch for like...
Director's Club, you can do that.
Yeah, you can't do that. I don't know. I might try just for experience because I just miss it. But I'm sure it's not going to be that fun like it used to.
Plus the seats are limited. So the reactions are limited.
Right. No, I'm happy with that. Because I don't want someone very noisy. Alam mo yung katabi mo guy na, tingnan mo, yan na yun. Yun yung mamamatay na si ano. I don't want to be seated with a guy who watched the movie first time and is watching with his girlfriend or his family on the second time. It's like telling the story already. Pet peeves. Things that I hate watching in a cinema wherein you have other people talking about what's happening or someone asking, yeah. You can't do anything anymore with a kid, right? I've watched Marvel movies with lots of kids screaming on the top from the top of their lungs, like Iron Man, Spider-Man. You can't help that already. Those are kids, but adults, like a 40-year-old guy just talking to, whoever is seated next to him. Ayun na yung part na mamamatay siya, no? Yun na yun. Yung bumubulong pa siya. Oh my God. So, that's one thing I hate.
We're consistently asking questions.
Yeah, so like yung girlfriend na hindi alam not familiar. Like my wife was not, yan ba si Spider-Man? Like, oh, yan ba si Hulk?
Sino daw?
Sino siya? Sino yung girl na yun? Yan, sino yan? Guys, when you're watching a movie, if you have questions, keep it to yourself and watch until the end of the movie perhaps. If you're watching probably a trilogy, for example, Star Wars. If you haven't watched Star Wars yet and then you're watching with a friend, for sure you're gonna have questions like, sino yan? It's good that you know something about the movie that you're watching first instead of asking questions during the movie, because it's one of the worst things to do inside the movie house or along the movie, or you can ask it after the movie. I'm not a fan of watching, but again, I'm not sure if I want to watch a movie post-pandemic yet. Although cases are going down now, again, here in the Philippines, today is less than 1,500. Again, I don't know, that seems kind of scary, but the Omicron is just, they treat it like as a common flu, and we might move into an endemic stage already. So not an epidemic stage when people, go to the hospital just because they have the virus, the COVID virus. But that's a good thing, right? Will we have events maybe in the middle of the year?
I think, can I say TMP? Can I say yung TMP? I think, they have, I saw Dog Brock post sometime.
Yeah, it's possible that we could have events.
Yung Paranaque soon.
So it's possible now we can have live streaming events. No, live events actually.
Plus there are small live events already. You can find.
No, I was talking to my friend Alvin Aguirre about doing a URCC event again, just because it's possible. We're talking about putting celebrities on matches, right? Because that's more compelling, right? Yes, but real fights, like a real, not scripted. You could script the weigh-ins and the face-to-face, but the actual fight you can't script that. If someone's gonna get knocked their teeth out, they will. There's no faking that. Like, wrestling is fake because there's acting, but the injuries that they get is real. Same with MMA, but they could act in the pre-game or post-fight, pre-fight and post-fight, but actual fight, you can't fake that. I've done 5 MMA matches in my life. I've lost 2 of them. You can't, even if you know who your opponent is, you can't fake those things. Those are real. Like, I got knocked out. Have you had the feeling of getting knocked out ever in your life? Have you? Someone punched you, like, and then you're down on the floor. Have you seen stars? Me, I've seen stars. It's true. It's like the comics, the Looney Tunes. I got hit by a sucker punch right here in my jaw, lights out. But then I had a jab on my face. I had stars. A soccer ball kicked to my face. I saw stars as well. A high leg kick to my face. I saw stars. And if you try to stand up, the more you you get dizzy. So yeah, I think that's a great experience for someone, Like there was saying by Mike Tyson that everyone has a plan until you get punched in the face by someone. Then you lose your game plan. So I think everyone needs to feel that feeling of getting knocked out at least once in their life. They know that feeling. Well, Kanye, of course, is a businessman, so I think he'll do the same thing with Pablo. It's gonna be available in Spotify. He's fighting for their rights to get more than 12% of what they're making from the industry. But these guys make a lot of money in tours, in merchandise, royalties and guestings and such. So they're good. Like, downloading stopped the point wherein you can only buy albums of people, right? In the early 2000s. But now there's apps like Spotify and Apple Store and Google when you can download music legally. Of course, illegal, you can still download them now. So you make your money outside of those. Like, you get attention from this. Yes, the exclusive sales and such, like, for example, merchandise. That's where you make your money. That's why you need to go on tour all the time for your albums. Radio guestings, TV guestings, and such. So that's how you get your attention. So the bigger the attention of the artist, the better possibility that they get to sell merchandise. He's getting all the attention still. Okay. I mean, Travis Scott is getting attention as well because he was, I think he got mentioned as well. And, everyone gets attention. And that for me is a big L. Calling Kim's boyfriend, who doesn't give a rat's ass to Kanye. Well, that's a different story indeed. But
Minention niya na he's saying na free the music. Do you think he'll use the stem to make it free for other artists?
maybe.
He'll not get royalties from other artists' music.
Maybe if it's a platform that your intent is just to get a lot of artists, initially it would be good to not get anything from the artist. But I don't know how you will sustain a platform like that, right? If you're not making money, maybe from ads. But people don't like listening to music with ads. It's like radio. That's why not a lot of people listen to the radio anymore. Like I don't listen to radio anymore when I'm in the car. It's rare that I listen to the radio. That's why.
The stem is not like a subscription. When you got it, it's yours, diba?
Yeah.
It's not like Spotify that you'll continue paying for every month. So, parang ang hirap naman kumita kung free siya for other artists din.
Correct. I don't know how it will. I don't know what's the end game with this, with a stem player for an artist. If you're an artist, for example, if you're a local artist, would you jump into this idea? Yeah, maybe it's because it's Kanye. Is it enough that he could lead people to do that? I don't know. I want to see how stem player would play out in the long run. Because like the platform Tidal, they didn't get enough paying subscribers. It didn't boom.
Yeah. It didn't even boom from the life of Pablo.
5, 6, 7 years now. Still not out.
We can educate Tory Lanez na what he did. Since we talked about NFT earlier, di ba? We can educate Tory Lanez na he did is sell his album for
Oh yeah,
$1.
For $1. Yeah, Tory Lanez sold this album. How many copies? 1 million copies at $1 each. And now what's the resale value of each? There's a resale value to it. $60,000 each? Wow.
And he still gets royalties from that because that's how NFTs work. When you're
That's
the
how you
original,
do it.
when you're the original owner, you get 20% every resale.
Wow. So that's how you do that.
I think it's better than what Kanye did.
Tingin mo, makakita ba tayo ng Pinoy OPM artists do that as well? You think, is there anyone doing that in the NFT space yet? Filipino artists? Not yet. I'm surprised. Not a lot are signed to a label. No. A lot of artists are signed to a label. Is Al James signed to a label now? They're not signed. Maybe I think they're gonna be the first to.
The closest group to do that is
Right.
XP.
They have the numbers, they have the reach, they have the subscribers, they have the fans. And I think you can, if it's $1, let's say if it's Tory Lanez sold this album for $1, 50 pesos. Would a group like XB sell their album for 100 pesos perhaps? Maybe.
They did an online concert.
Right? Imagine if they get a normal play of 100 million plays and you sell your album, an EP or an album for 100 pesos. Dude, that's billions. 100 million. Let's just say you sell 10 million copies. Right? A tenth. That's a billion. That's a billion. That's a billion in sales. Right? Hey man, I gave you the idea. Or maybe you guys are already talking about that, right? We don't know. Are they still top of the game here in the Philippines? XB? So who's next in line when it comes? No one?
No one. I think Al James. We can say Al James because since he released his PSG, it's been number 1 for 8 weeks straight.
So not more like Shanty Dope? No? Is he gone from the scene for a while already?
Shanty Dope
he
just
released an album recently.
he just released an album.
Uh-huh.
It's just
Not so much.
yeah.
Okay.
Unlike the XB online concert, it's been the top of even the mainstream media is talking about.
35,000.
Lowest is 300 pesos and highest is 35,000.
What's the reasoning why it's 35,000?
The merch and the exclusive dinner.
Right. Okay. So that makes sense. So you had an experience to do one-on-ones with them?
Exclusive listening party for their unreleased.
Nice. That's how you do it. The stem player is already a second gen one. This is our second generation stem player, Kanye said. We have more things we are working on. I feel like how I felt in the first episode of the documentary. Oh, the documentary mentions is Genius. Yeah, which recently debuted on Netflix. I feel like we should do more on tech. Like next time we do, I'm interested in really in tech. Like laptops, not just Apple perhaps. But we're Apple users here in the office. So it makes sense we talk about more on Apple devices. I mean, using an iPad. Like I have an MacBook Pro. It's a 2018 15.6 inch model. I don't know if I should upgrade to the M1 Max. M1, is it the Pro? No, what's higher? Pro or Max? No, Max is higher, right? Yeah, okay. So you have the Apple M1 Pro chip. You have the M1 Max chip, okay? But for me, I'm not an editor. The Pro chip would be good. But for you guys who do the editing, the Max chip makes more sense, right?